Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on Life. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So, the primary observance of the festival of Passover is that we're not allowed to eat any Chametz, which is Hebrew for leavened bread, leavened food products, and we can only eat Matza. Now, what is the inherent difference between Matza and Chametz? That Chametz, that's leavened bread, it rises, it becomes inflated. You start off with a flat dough, and as time passes, it rises and has the yeast that triggers that. And the Matzah is not given any chance to do so. In fact, the process is so quick that it can never even begin to trigger the process of leavening. Now, of course, we do so. In other words, we adhere to these two commandments because the Torah said so. That's really enough for us. But it's not enough as far as God's concerned. Of course, we have to do it with full subservience as we fulfill any and all of God's commandments, but then we also need to dig in for the deeper meaning, especially considering that the festivals are not just here to be celebrated at one given time, but rather to give us inspiration for the entire year with the aspect of that particular festival, that particular celebration. So what is it about Chametz and Matzah? What are the spiritual aspect? What is the practical application to our lives that we can derive from this? Well, like I said, the difference between Chametz and Matzah, the leavened bread and unleavened bread, is that one rises, becomes inflated, which really it's all a bunch of air, and that's really what gives it that texture. It's not really a substance that pushes it upwards. It's something that triggers within that makes it explode, so to speak, versus the matzah, which is flat, which has no rising element to it. This rising element is representative of ego, arrogance. Thus, on Passover, when we're becoming, so to speak, reborn, we are experiencing Passover, as I discussed in the previous class. We are rising above our challenges. The correct way to do this, the proper approach, is by being humble, humility. And that's why we are forbidden, we are restricted from eating any whatsoever, consuming any whatsoever leavened product throughout this entire festival, because this is the time when we're laying down the foundation for the entire year of our self-growth. Here comes the question. If leaven represents ego/arrogance, then how come it's allowed a whole year? Maybe it should be forbidden the entire year. If it's that bad, it's totally restricted on Passover, then maybe we shouldn't be allowed to eat it the entire year. The answer is that within the family of ego/arrogance, there's also some healthy members. It's not an entirely sickly family, so to speak. There's some aspects to it that are not only healthy and okay, but in fact encouraged. You see, a person needs to have healthy humility, but at the same time, a healthy ego. Just like there's bad bacteria for which you need to take antibiotics, but there's good bacteria without which you cannot live. You can't kill all bacteria. And the message is that once you've laid the foundation properly for your healthy approach to life, to self-growth, now you need to employ, quote, the ego, which can translate into pride, a healthy pride, to be proud of who you are, Do not be deterred by the naysayers. Do not be undermined by some negative people that are around you. Always be confident and proud of who you are.